Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we are checking out the first episode of the solo leveling anime, and I am too excited because this is the first reaction I've done where I'm watching the anime knowing what the source material is, so I'm super excited. I've been reading the manga over on Patreon, so that's where it is. I'm not caught up in the whole series yet, so I understand that there may be some things in this that are foreshadowing stuff that I have not gotten to yet. I understand the risks. I'm too excited to wait, so I'm just gonna go for it, okay? Maybe that'll anger some people, but I can't help it, okay? I want to see what this anime is gonna be, even if I just watch the first few episodes, okay? I need to know what's going on. I haven't watched any of the trailers because I didn't want any like major spoilers on the plot, but I'm assuming that they're not going to be giving away anything super important in the first couple of episodes that are like from the later chapters of the manga. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. We're just gonna do this anyway and see what happens. So super excited to get into this and see what they do with the source material because it's so good. I'm gonna be upset if this ends up being a bad adaptation because the source material is amazing and they would really have to do some gymnastics to mess this up, but it could happen. So we're gonna see what this first episode has to hold for us. If you're new to my channel, I don't show any of the anime in my reaction videos. Japan doesn't have copyright fair use laws, and YouTube doesn't like it when you put stuff that wasn't originally posted to YouTube on it. So if that bothers you, you can leave now. And if it doesn't bother you, there'll be a timer in the top of the screen so you can sync up to it. Hi, welcome to the channel. So let's get into this episode and see what they're doing with this series. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm legitimately vibrating with how excited I am about this. Ooh. Is this... I'm trying to remember if this is all the way back at the beginning of the manhwa. Because the beginning of the manhwa in my head is all of the trauma that comes with the double dungeon. Oof. The very dramatic music. Ooh. Just like out of the gate being like, this is gonna be an intense ride. Are we gonna show some of the higher ranked hunters? Still super traumatic though. Like, you're gonna have to live with the memory of a giant ant eating you. Strong sideburns. This seems so like there's like camaraderie and stuff, and I'm just like, it gets shady real quick. I'm assuming this is to be like, hey, this is how the system works of like, we have hunters, here are the monsters. Hunters have like different specialities. Wow, look at that cool like camera work there. Like, I'm assuming this is, they'll set that all up for people who don't know. Whew. Really hitting the ground running though. Did you just use its own appendage to impale it? Sir. Yeah, hunters are a little unhinged. It continues to be something that I worry about. You see the way they whited at his eyes there? See, that's like, that's gotta be a bad sign, right? This is very apocalyptic looking. I really do feel like that was not in the opener of the manhwa, but like, you know what? I'm here for it. I feel like this is where we started. There's our boy! Oh, pre-transformation, look at him. Just want to put him in my pocket. Whew. Hit the ground running with that one. Like, we're just like throwing people in, being like, all right, intense action scenes before we get into some other stuff. Oh, they're gonna be mean to our sweet boy, though. It's gonna hurt a little bit. I'm like, oh, all of the people that are gonna be introduced here. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's why everyone wants to see him, is that they're like, oh, if he's here, then it can't be that bad. Little do they know. Like it's like the usual. Just what always happens. Oh, I feel so bad for him at the beginning. He's like changed so much. Where I am in the manhwa that I'm just like, oh my god. I'm just like, I know what's gonna happen. I'm already tensing up. Yeah, I mean, it is a weapon. Yeah, he looks like he's been through a lot, but I mean, like, if he's gotten to that age as a hunter, he's seen some things. Okay, so we're setting some stuff up way earlier on. Oof. Some great, like, continuous shots in the animation, which is not an easy thing to pull off. Oof. Ugh. Yeah, why are we hesitating? That is a giant pool of blood. Quite a collection you got there. Really interesting way of like getting the information across because it's a lot easier in like written form to just like put the info in. Whereas you need some way to communicate that in the animation that makes sense. Which is why like they're like kind of setting up these different things. Like even the opening scene is like we need a visual way of showing this information because we can't just like monologue at people in animation. But you got one. Don't do it. I'm just like, we've set up a lot of things of like, here's setting up the world and the mechanics and some of the characters and their power sets, which is necessary and all that for first episodes. But I'm like, don't go into the scary tunnel. Turn back. Reminding us again that he has a kid on the way. It's all gonna go sideways. I do like that they put it up to a vote. Oof, no pressure. I was say we haven't seen his sister yet, or mention of her. And with those words, sealed all of their fates. So I'm a sweet boy! Introduced early! Rude. Is my sweet boy gonna come to the rescue? Oh no, it's someone else! I'm smooth though. Graceful. I feel like this is showing off how far I've gotten in the manhwa, but you know what? It's fine. Doesn't seem to like the fame. Interesting. Yep. We're gonna be dealing with that guilt for a little while. She's only aggressive because she cares. Boy, does this get complicated. Don't do it. Big, scary, intimidating door. Turn around. No, you can still turn around. You don't have to do it. It's only once you open it. Mm. Poignant, given what's about to happen. But yeah, I think fear is something that we kind of see as this bad thing, like weakness. But fear is so important to like surviving and taking care of yourself and assessing situations that could be dangerous. I saw that focus on the armor. I know what's gonna happen. Gosh. I have like my whole body tenses up when I see that statue. Oh yeah, pay attention to that. I like how this is in the background, so it's like you have to kind of pay attention, but it's going to become so much more important later. Like it's a nice little way of foreshadowing the information about how this dungeon is going to be, how it's going to go. The music has shifted. Bye. It's nice knowing you. Nameless background character. Oh, I remember seeing this and I was like, holy crap. Yup. That's what we're doing. An acceptable response. Oof, the like reverb on his voice is interesting. Like the almost like chaos of it. Yeah, keep an eye on that one. I'm waiting for like the face to change. I don't like it. Not like this. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yep. Ooh, jeez. It's different seeing it in motion. Oh, the way the music cut out there. Yo. I'm just like rocking out to the music. I want to stick around in case there's a preview or something, even though I know the story, but like, I want to be immersed in it. You know, that's just where I'm at. But like, it's weird. It's hits differently when it's in motion as opposed to like in the manhwa. But like, they did so many different things in this. And I know that for sure some of the stuff I haven't gotten to yet in the manhwa, and I'm sure that there's people who are like, no, when I was getting into this episode, being like, you haven't gotten to that part yet, and like they're hinting at some things. But I totally understand them pulling some of that forward. Not just I forgot that TXT did some of the music on this. Anyway. um I gosh, I lost my train of thought now. TXT just like totally took me out of that. But I understand them pulling some of that forward because there's a ton of like exposition that has to happen at this point in the story to like set up a bunch of things, and you can't just put it in a block of text like you can in the manhwa. You have to have some reason to show how that system works. So I get them pulling some of that stuff forward. Guess we're not getting a preview. I turned the music way down, so I didn't really hear any of it, but we got another episode coming up soon. It's honestly a little bit wild to know the source material going into a reaction, because usually I don't know what I'm about to step into, and I just kind of have to roll with the punches, where it's a little bit different with this one. But they did have a bunch of stuff in it that I have not experienced yet. I know part of that is because I'm not completely caught up on the manhwa, so there are things that they're kind of pulling forward, like I was saying at the end there, because they have to set up a bunch of stuff in this episode, and it can't just be like in a text box and then move on, right? Like they have to have some visual way of showing that. So I think that having the opening scene be showing a bunch of hunters in action was really smart, because it's a way of showing like, here's the magic system, here are the monsters, here's what the hunters are, how they work, what is an S rank, putting in a bunch of that information that you can visually see. But also because I knew that there was going to be a big chunk in the middle there, because I'm like, we're probably going to end off this episode with introducing the double dungeon concept and how dangerous that is. So there's going to be a huge chunk in the middle there where there isn't a bunch of action happening. So having that front loaded in the episode helps with some of the pacing of it, and then you can get into some of that exposition in the middle with showing other characters, kind of communicating that and setting up some of those ideas. I know that there was the one girl S rank hunter that I haven't seen yet where I'm at, so I don't fully know who she is, but I like using that to set up the concept of like S rank hunters being celebrities and what comes with that, and how that's a little bit of a different take on just like the danger of the job. Like being an S rank is in a lot of ways a personality brand as much as it is being this very powerful hunter and stuff like that. So setting up that concept, setting up the guilds as well and what that means, and like getting your rankings and awakenings and things like that, showing that concept as opposed to just kind of putting it in this text form that you have to read through, and setting all that up so that in the episodes that come, they don't have to like go back and explain what those concepts are. That being said, I don't know if this is because I know some of it. I thought it was a little bit slow in the middle, but I get if you didn't know all of the information, that obviously they kind of have to front load it. There's a lot of world building in this series, so you do have to know a bunch of this stuff, but I felt like it was a lot. Like I feel like if I was new to this series, there'd be so much stuff in this that I just wouldn't be able to retain, because I would be, it would be a lot of stuff thrown at me, and there's a lot of characters, right? There's a lot of faces associated with all those new concepts too, and you're like, are these people important? Is this building important? Are these names important? Like I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of somebody who didn't actually know the series. So I get some of the pacing stuff. I do realize that they're trying to set up a bunch of stuff, and I do get that they probably wanted to end the runtime on introducing the double dungeon. So I get that they were kind of trying to fill up that space, and they were like, okay, what can we put in there that is going to be important, and introduce some characters and foreshadow some things that are going to be important while kind of ending on the cliffhanger that we want. So I do feel like the pacing is a little bit janky in this episode, but first episodes are always kind of a toss-up because you have so much stuff that you have to catch people up on and set up, that it isn't until you get into some of the coming episodes that they kind of figure out what they're doing. So far, it looks like it's gonna be really good. It looks like it's following a lot of the stuff in the source material while still kind of making some changes that I could totally understand why those were necessary to translate from the manhwa form into an animated form. So far it seems really good. I don't know, you guys give me your thoughts in the comments, and you can subscribe so you miss next time I post a solo leveling reaction here on the channel. Manhwa stuff is over on Patreon if you want to check it out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.